Hey, what's up? Welcome to the video. This is going to be a beginner guide type thing about Soldier and TF2, just for fun. Here on Dust Bowl, my favorite map, one of the most basic maps in the game. Yeah, so in this video I'm going to talk about, weapons strategy, mostly strategy. I think that in general people get too hung up on the aiming and the shooter aspect of the game, and they forget or miss how strategy based it is. So, first things to note, your weapon selection that you get being a soldier. Okay, so you have 200 HP, you have 3 weapons. This is default a shovel, and you get rocket launcher and shotgun. Shotgun is standard issue shotgun in the game. It's basic and strong. Rocket launcher is your most powerful weapon by far. It's your class defining weapon. It's the one thing that you have that nobody else has, and it's fucking OP. So most of this discussion is going to be talking about the rocket launcher. Shotgun is a basic hit scan, and when you shoot, it'll hit somebody and it fires bullets. Your rocket launcher is an explosive-based weapon. Due to it being an explosive-based weapon, you are strategically ruled by terrain. You can hit shots in the air if you are highly skilled, but Soldier to me is not a skill or aiming-based class. It gets almost, I'd say like 70% of its value from pure strategic play, and you can overcome your aiming weaknesses just from strategy alone. So aiming will be a separate thing. Right now we're just going to talk about strategy. Because you are an explosive-based class, you want to look for terrain so that you can explode your things on them and you don't have to actually hit anybody. So people are going to try and juke your rockets if you try and shoot them straight at them at about this height. But if you shoot the ground next to them, you can hit them and they can't juke it. Splash damage is pretty far. It's like there. It's pretty significant, and it'll do about 30-40 damage on the low end. You can hit people for about 100 damage if you're directly on them, which is extremely strong. If you're a lighter class, it's almost a one-shot. If you're a heavier class, you can 3-shot like a heavy or 2-shot demo soldier. So you're one of the tougher classes in the game, and you're slow, which means you have bad mobility. Baseline. We're ignoring rocket jumping for now, which is this, if you've seen me do it. That'll be a separate video. So without rocket jumping, you basically plod around and you're kind of like a sitting duck. The soldier is a very warrior type class in the game, if you've played RPGs before. That makes strategy even more effective and useful. So rather than being in positions like this, you would want to be on high ground. This is because you shoot your rockets down and they're always hitting the ground. Ground is terrain. There is ground in the entire game. Thus, there is terrain in the entire game. As long as you can hit the ground, you can hit an enemy. If you have high ground, it's easier to hit the ground and it's easier to hit enemies who are near the ground. Thus, high ground is going to be your best friend as a soldier, making it easier to hit your 100 damage rockets, which will destroy your enemy. Anytime you can find high ground, you should try and find it. The second piece of terrain that you'll want to look for the most is corners. Due to your rocket's nature, let me see if I can demo this. You see how it's on the right side of my character? You can actually, yep, that's a good angle. You can shoot around with barely looking. You can also peek fire. Other classes, especially hit skin classes, cannot do this. This gives you a higher damage per minute or damage per second, however you want to think about it, than other classes. If there is a giant heavy revved up shooting, if you were to stand in front of him, you would get eradicated, basically. But if you peek in, you take a couple bullets, peek out, take a couple bullets, shoot him. You can kill him in no time, and you'll only take a fraction of your HP. So, first terrain, high ground. Second terrain, corners or walls, basically. Third terrain, I won't show it there, is enclosed spaces. This is the soldier and the demo man's best friend. It is a love for explosive classes. Tons of random corners to spurg the fuck out and shoot whoever like an idiot. If you get panicked, if you get snuck up on and you're going crazy, you can shoot and maybe you hit a wall and they have nowhere to run because they can't juke and the rocket takes up half the space. Combined with the splash damage, you could basically hit them anywhere in this entire area. Yeah, enclosed space is king for soldier and demo, but I would say demo without sticky traps, soldier wins, but demo with sticky traps, demo is the best in these spaces. Another good thing to know with peeking on a wall is like if there's a sentry gun there, you're one of the few classes that can peek shoot it. It's kind of hard here because the gun's on my right side, but you can make do. Yeah, so enclosed areas. Your three main focuses are going to be high ground, walls or corners, and enclosed areas. That is where you are the strongest class in the game. It takes no mobility, and there's plenty of terrain to splash your damage off of, because those are your strongest things. You have no mobility as a character, or very low baseline, and then you get your best damage from hitting any sort of terrain, which it is always in the game. So the shotgun works in every situation generically. If you have good aim, it 1-to-1, due to it being a hit scan, directly scales with your ability to aim as a player. And so if you can track your opponent and hit them, then you can hit them. It's a very, very basic weapon. It's best used to combo with the rockets. So if you shoot somebody and you do 90 damage to them, you can finish them off with the shotgun. Oftentimes when you attack somebody, they will try to juke your rockets or play differently now that they've been shot, and the shotgun is a different style of weapon, as it is not a projectile, it is a hit scan, which may allow you to get really easy kills. So since the round is over, that is a perfect time to stop here. That is the basics of the class in terms of aiming and your weaponry. Very simplified. There's a lot of more depth I could go into, but I don't think that's necessary. This is a basic class, very basic overview of what's going on. So just to recap, you're a tough class, slow, with mainly a projectile or explosive based weapon. Thus your strengths are enclosed areas, terrain, high ground, walls, corners, those kinds of things. You don't want to take open fights. You want to fight in areas like this, and because this game, and specifically Soldier, is mostly strategy, you should be focusing your play around strategy. If you're struggling to kill people and do well in TF2 and you're playing Soldier, the first place I would look to is the things that I just said. Where are you picking your fights? Where are you taking the fights with the enemy? If you're fighting in favorable locations and you're still losing, then you can start looking at other reasons, but that's a good place to start. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.